Well, today I had a dream, and I believe that this dream is a warning of the coming conflict or friction between the U.S. and Russia. That relationship is going to be constrained even further. I believe that in this dream, the Lord articulates clearly some of the issues that are going to lead to this, and the secrecy or the hidden nature of this conflict, and how it's going to be covered up to avoid further conflict is the most important element of this dream. So I'm not going to wait much. I'm going to go straight into the dream. So in this dream, I found myself on a mountain close to the nation of Russia. I believe that this mountain was very close to Russia, all right? But I saw a dog, like one of those German Shepherd dog or the dogs that the military use. I'm reminded of the dog that recently was involved in the raid, that brought down the al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS. It was a similar dog like that one. But this dog was walking on top of a mountain top, and I could tell that this mountain was very close to Russia. Now, this dog was walking on top of this mountain. It's a grassy mountain, all right? So the structure of the mountain, there was a lot of green grass all around it. But there was like one of those, staircases that you see on the shopping malls, okay? Those staircases that are electric, that they move up, back and forth. There was something similar to that, all right? There was something similar to this staircases, all right? And it was moving. It was like, under the ground, but it was moving. Now, this dog was walking on that platform, going up on top of the mountain. Now, to tell you the truth, I don't know why the dog was in the dream in the first place, why the army dog was in the dream. Now, this dog seemed to be trained. It knew where to go. Now, the reason for this is maybe because a dog, uses his nose to sniff things. And so in this dream, maybe the Lord wanted to lead me, to, the source of, or the important element of this dream that I was to see. So I saw this dog going on top of the mountain. Okay, again, it's an army dog, it's a trained dog, looked like a German Shepherd, looked like the dog that looked like Conan, that was used recently to, bring down al-Baghdadi. Now, this dog was going on top of the mountain, but you had those escalator staircases that you see on shopping malls that go up and down. All right, so the dog was walking on one of those escalators, but this escalator was under the ground, so you could not completely see it. It wasn't visible, but I would see the grass moving while the dog is walking on it. So it was, this thing is moving underground, and the dog's walking right on top of it until the dog got to the top or the peak of this mountain top, and there was an entry point. Okay, just like you have bunkers, they always have like an entry point. This dog got to the top of this mountain, and I don't know how he did it, but somehow the top of this opening popped up and the dog went inside. Now, I followed this dog up there on top of the mountain until I got to the peak of this mountain, where the dog entered through this tunnel. And as I was trying to look through the tunnel, all of a sudden some guy came out. Now they look really built up, and they look like one of those either special forces people, or maybe some kind of a CIA person. All right, they came out of this tunnel, and he was telling me, hey, hold it. I was trying to run because it feels like this whole area was secret, but it was so close to Russia, and it was on a mountaintop, all right, underneath the ground. So because I found the site, okay, or the dog led me to this site, and the person came out of this place, and they started coming after me. There was about four, I think four looking like, people look like agents, like four of them, and they were coming after me, and they were saying, just hold it, don't panic, stand right there, we just want to talk to you. And I had my hands lifted up, and I was backing away, but all of a sudden the scenery on the peak of this mountain changes from just the top of the mountain to like the roof of a building. And now on the side of the building, I could see the nuclear cooling towers. Okay, I could see the cooling tower, the nuclear cooling towers. They're right beside of the mountain, and as I was walking on top of this, the top of this building that in the beginning was a mountain, now it changed into a building, and there was like cooling towers, nuclear cooling towers right next to the building. So I'm trying to back away from these guys, and they want to talk with me. And I said, all right, I'll talk to you. So I was coming close to them, but the roof of this building was so that when you're walking on it, you feel like you're going to sink. You feel like you're going to just fall through the roof into this building. So I was trying to go to the edge so that I can lean to maybe one of the cooling towers so that I can talk to these guys, because in the dream I was so afraid of the height, and I could see the ground is far off. So when I tried to lean over to this tower, all of a sudden the tower fell down, and I fell down with it. Now, from that place, I woke up from this dream. All right. Now I begin to wonder. When I woke up from this dream, I began to wonder what's really going on here. What is this mountain close to Russia? And what is the U.S. Secret Service doing within the bunker of this mountain? And why is there an escalator, hidden underneath the ground, leading to the top of this mountain entry to the bunker? And why was an army dog leading me to that point? So those are questions that I have no answers to. All right. Now, the second part of this vision can definitely explain what is going to happen, that I believe was leading to maybe what I want to talk about. So I woke up a little bit and I was wondering, what is this? Lord, what is this? And then I went back to sleep. And all of a sudden, I was in a banquet hall. So I'm in this banquet hall, and I see all these dignitaries and diplomats from every different nations, and they're in this room, and they're talking. And I could see in front of that crowd, like they always put the tables in front, and the leaders are sitting on it, and they're having a discussion. I could see Vladimir Putin there, and I also saw an American diplomat. I could not see the face of this American diplomat, but there was an American diplomat having a dialogue with Vladimir Putin, and it did not look like it was a good dialogue. It looked like they were kind of fighting over words and arguing to make a point, while every other leader in the room was watching. Then I saw Vladimir Putin put his hand on this American diplomat. He put his hand on the neck of this American diplomat, and then this American diplomat just collapsed and fell to the ground. And all of a sudden, I saw Putin saying that, oh, we can't have this happening. We need to shut down, lock down the room, and make sure that no one gets out. So he ordered the security guys to lock the room down, don't let anybody out, because this American diplomat was on the ground. He couldn't breathe, and it looked like he was dead. And they were calling the ambulance. They were trying to get the doctors to come in and work on him. It seems to me like it did not intend for that to happen, but it happened. It happened, and now there was a U.S. diplomat, on the ground there, dead in the Russian soil. An argument led to that. I don't know what Putin did to him, but he touched him on his shoulder somewhere, and he kind of just collapsed. And now we had a diplomatic situation. Putin was trying to get his security forces and everybody to lock the room and make sure nobody gets out of there and the information is not transferred to the Americans. They were trying to hide it, so that nobody finds out how, what happened and what happened to this diplomat. And it was being hidden, and people were being told you can't get out. The security guys were basically putting cuffs on people and telling people that you can't get out of this room until they solve the problem with the man. But it looked like this diplomat from the U.S. was already dead. So they were just trying to cover the whole thing up and making sure the news doesn't leak, to the media. So I found myself running and hustling to get out of that room, and I was able to sneak out of that room. And then I found myself in a different facility that was owned by the Americans, and I was trying to speak to some officials there and trying to tell them what really happened in that banquet hall and what is going on, and that they're trying to cover this thing up. Some people were so afraid because I was telling them, you got to pack up your things and leave, because they're going to be coming here. They're going to be looking for anybody who knows about what just happened, because they're going to be looking for anyone who knows about what just happened, and they don't want this information to be leaked out to the media. They don't want the US to find out about it, so they're looking for any person that can leak this information so that they can silence them. So I told some people, and people were preparing. Some guys were getting their guns ready. I remember seeing some special forces people, some agents taking up their guns and raiding themselves. I told another guy about it, and he took off. He just kind of went through the window. I put a backpack on his back. He went through the window and he told me, I don't want to be here. And he said, you need to get out of here as fast as you can. And so I was trying to squeeze myself out of that window so that I can get out of the place immediately and take off. Because through the window, I could see KGB, I could see, Russian agents running around trying to find any person who has information about this so that they can arrest them and lock them up. It was tense. It was like an espionage type of thing. I believe that there's still some few elements that are related in this dream that will explain why we get to a diplomat dead. All right. I believe it has to do with a mountain that is near Russia that the US is using for something. I don't know what it is, but there was a nuclear cooling tower next to it, and that nuclear cooling tower was not strong enough. It was weak, so it collapsed. All right. And then the next thing, another element in this dream that's very, very important is that this area was very secretive, and it was underground. So something is going to happen to a U.S. diplomat in Russia, and Russia is going to try to cover it up, or they're going to try to make it sound like something else happened to them and not what really happened. But in the dream, I saw it had something to do with Putin putting their hands on the neck of this diplomat, and then he collapses. So it is directly involved to Putin and something that he does. But it was so intense, and I woke up from that dream. And I do know that this is a warning about a diplomatic situation that is coming between the US and Russia. Involves nuclear weapons, involves some kind of a mountain that is secret, and it involves a little bit of nuclear deals collapsing. Also involves a U.S. Diplomat dying in Russian land, and leading to tension. I don't know anything that happens after that. I woke up from this dream.